Hello students, today we are going to start part 3 of the chapter Understanding our Criminal Justice System. In this part, we will cover two topics. What is the role of the judge and what is a fair trial? So let's start today's video with the topic what is the role of the judge? The judge is like an umpire in a game and conducts the trial impartially and in an open court. Open court means public court where all the people are allowed to listen the hearings. The judge hears all the witnesses and any other evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense. The judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent on the basis of the evidence presented and in accordance with the law. If the accused is convicted, then the judge pronounces the sentence. He may send the person to jail or impose a fine or both, depending on what the law prescribes. Now, with the help of the following points, we can understand the role of judge. The judge presides over the trial, which means she effectively acts as the chairperson. She or he decides the schedule and tries to keep all the participants on time. He or she manages the order and timing of the lawyers' presentations, decides which witnesses will be permitted to testify and when. The next role, the judge decides which evidence will come in and which will be excluded. The judge decides which questions the prospective jurors will be asked during voir dire. The judge decides which jurors will be excused. He rules on legal motions before, during, and after the trial, including motions to dismiss the case. The judge instructs the jury on the law, admonishes the jury not to take known evidence into account during deliberations. The judge also encourages the jury to reach a verdict when they fail to achieve unanimity. Now we'll discuss what is a fair trial. This is because for a trial to be fair, several different procedures have to be observed. Article 21 of our Constitution, that guarantees the right to life, states that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and just legal procedure. A fair trial ensures that Article 21 of the Constitution is upheld. So, we need a fair trial. So, what is a fair trial? Let's discuss with the help of the following points. What are the features or attributes of a fair trial? First, independent court. The court should be independent and impartial. Second, presumption of innocence. It means defendant should be presumed innocent until proved guilty. Like in Shanti's case, although the police filed a case of theft against Shanti, the judge assumed her to be innocent. It was the responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Shanti was guilty. So in this case, the prosecution failed to do so. So in this way, it was the feature about which we have discussed, presumption of innocence. Third is defendant told of charge. Shanti was provided a copy of charge sheet when she was arrested, and after that she was tried in a court. Then she was explained with the charge, that for what charge she is being tried. Fourth, time and facilities to prepare. So the defendant should be given the time and all the facilities, including a lawyer, to prepare for the case for his or her defense. Next one is without undue delay. Means without any delay, the case should be solved. Sixth, right to a lawyer. Shanti was defended by a lawyer, and Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Troy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses. So it was right to examine witnesses. Next one is right to an interpreter. If the accused or defendant cannot understand the language and speaking by other people or the opposition lawyer, so he or she has a right to have an interpreter. Next one is no double jeopardy. It means no one can be punished for the same offense, right? So only for one time he or she can be punished for one offense. And the last one is public court. It means the court should be held publicly. It means all the people can be allowed related to that case in the hearings, right? It should be open court. For example, Sushil, Shanti's brother, could attend all the hearings in the court. Now this is the turn of glossary from this chapter. Let's start. First is accused. What do you understand by accused? Accused is the person who is tried by a court for a crime. For example, in this chapter, Shanti. Shanti is accused for stealing a gold chain of Mrs. Shinde. So she is accused. Cognizable. In the context of this chapter, this refers to an offense for which the police may arrest a person without the permission of the court. Cognizable means there is no need of warrant. The police can arrest any person for this offense. For example, rape, murder, theft, etc. So these are considered cognizable offenses. Cross-examine. Cross-examine means it refers to the questioning of a witness who has already been examined by the opposing side in order to determine the veracity of his or her testimony. For example, if a public prosecutor presents a witness and after that the defense lawyer asks the questions, cross questions, so that is cross-examine. Detention. In the context of this chapter, this refers to the act of being kept in illegal custody by the police. Detention. For example, Sushil, Shanti's brother, was kept for 2 days in custody, in police custody, without any warrant, without any offense. So that is called detention because that is illegal custody by the police. Next one is impartial. The act of being fair or just and not favoring any one side over another. On the behalf of the witnesses, on the basis of the evidences, the court conducts a free trial without being partial. So that is called impartial. Offense. Any act that the law defines as a crime. So crime is offense. To be charged of a crime, it refers to the trial judge informing the accused in writing of the offense for which he or she will face trial. For example, Shanti was provided a copy of charge sheet presented by the police and this charge sheet was provided by the court. Next is witness. Witness is the person who is called upon in the court to provide a first-hand account of what he or she had seen about incident and what he or she heard about the incident and what he or she knows about the incident. So dear students, in this way we have completed this chapter. I hope that you have understood. So revise the chapter by reading from the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.